All right, we are live here from the Ottawa Curling Club 2 p.m. draw here at the 2025 Over the Rainbow Bonspiel. I am Sean Graham from the Game of Stones podcast. Scott is alongside as always. Hello, Scott.
Sean, welcome. I'm glad to be here. I'm quite loud, but that's okay.
Yep, that's okay. Happens, you know. So we are here for a qualifier game on the D side here between Team Fermanagh and Team Horwood. So we have two teams that are 1 and 2 so far on the weekend. Winner will go on to a quarterfinal game tonight at 9 p.m. Losers go home. Scott, not quite sure which one the prize is between those two options.
Yeah, playing at 9 p.m. after a real early morning, not the greatest prize, but you want to keep going in this Bonspiel. You want to keep having fun. And winning is the only way you're going to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So both teams played this morning at 8. Hopefully they had a chance for a bit of a nap here in the intervening time as we get ready for this 2 o'clock game. But as I said, both teams are 1 and 2 looking to move on. Team Horwood is from Ottawa. All 4 of them play in the Rainbow League here at the Ottawa Curling Club, which goes Sunday afternoons. And Team Fermanagh is in from Toronto. First time the 4 of them are playing together. Scott, as we look forward to this game, we know Steve Horwood from Ottawa. We haven't seen Team Fermanagh play yet, but generally speaking, when you got 4 guys playing together for the first time, what are some of the challenges?
It's always a challenge when you've got some guys playing for the first time ever, but a lot of fun. Both these teams coming in 1 and 1 or 1 and 2 on the weekend so far. Learning the ice, whichever team is going to be able to pick that up fastest might be the team that wins here, and I'd give that advantage to Team Horwood.
And they have the advantage off the top as they have won the toss, and they will have the last rock advantage. They will be throwing the Yellowstone. So to get us off here, it's Patrick Tackney, the lead for Team Fermanagh. He'll get us going for the qualifier game. Now, we haven't been around all weekend. We did see the end of the last draw. Looked like the ice was in pretty good shape, getting a lot of curl. So hopefully that will be the case here. We do have some ice maintenance coming up after this draw. So for anyone out there watching, if you play in clubs a lot, this will be equivalent to a later game in the day. Think of if you play 9 o'clock draws. That's what we're expecting for the ice here. So maybe a little slower than it's been. Certainly it should be slower than what the teams played this morning, and we'll have to keep an eye on that, how it goes, Scott. Also, it was snowing outside. Started snowing about an hour ago. You're a meteorologist, of course. What kind of impact do you think that'll have on the ice conditions here as we go through this game?
Yeah, I don't think it'll be too bad for the ice conditions here. We're used to cold, we're used to snow, maybe a little more humidity coming off the folks coming into the club, but nothing too bad. We saw a nice centerline guard there on the first rock. Second rock on its way from Team Horwood, from the lead, Chris Motts. And let's see what he can do.
Yeah, it looked like Steve called the come around here, but as I said, expect the ice to be a little slow here, especially off the top. So coming up short, and Fermanagh is going to try and come around, put some pressure on early in this game. Should note, as the qualifier game, this is going to be a 6-end match. So I was talking to Steve before the game, and he was looking at trying to be aggressive early on when you don't have an opportunity to catch up if you go behind. So you get a 2 or 3 early in this game. Gets late early in these type of games, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. A bit of a miscue there, but we'll see how it goes. That's one of my favorite calls, Centerline guard goes up, play the come around. Let's go. What are we doing here?
Yeah, so this one from Patrick just got a little outside there on the intern and got into a bit of the sludge. Probably not a lot of rocks down that pass so far today, so that actually gives Steve a corner guard to work with, and looks like he's going to take advantage of that and try and tuck one in behind the corner here.
Yeah, the things you always want to do without hammer is keep that middle open, try to build behind the corners, and I like this call.
Yeah, me too. So we'll see what Chris can do with this one, and certainly more weight on this one out of his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing yet from the sweepers. Here we go, trying to make it move.
It's
get
curling.
it around. We see this at the Ottawa a lot, Scott, that the rock will hug the center line till about 3/4 of the way down, and certainly once you get past the hog line, it will really cut over. As you see there, this rock is fully open on the outside of this, and that was not particularly close to the corner guard. So we're getting a lot of finish outside in.
Yeah,
so
a lot of finish there, Sean. Pretty good shot, though. A nice T-line weight.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll take it for Steve Horwood on this one. Now the first shot for Team Fermanagh, second Tyler Hyvärinen. And it looks like Chris has called him to come around that corner guard, maybe a bit of a freeze here.
Yeah, we'll see if we get as much curl on this shot as we got on the last one.
Yeah, it looks a little lighter, certainly. Guys trying to get this into the house. But there, you can see it there. It's a great shot here where you can see it coming off of the line. Great work by our camera team there to give you a sense of just how much curl we're getting coming off that center line. So a little light still is Team Horwood sitting shot rock here. And Steve's going to go wide side around here with his second. It's Brent Steele. Scott, do you like this? You're sitting one. It's open, but a pretty wide hit if you go out there. Kind of hard to split the house any other way, I think.
I think it is hard to split the house. You've got those guards up. They're probably not what you want as you're the team with the last rock, but they're there. You might as well try and use them. And this one looks pretty good, Sean.
Yeah, great weight here for Brent. Guys are just cleaning in. Maybe a bit of a finish here for Steve. That's exactly where you want that rock, top 4 foot. Fully 4 foot, but not quite buttoned. So a tough situation here for Team Fermanagh.
Yeah, that'll be run back city is what I like to call it. Let's make up for those mistakes. You never like peeling a center when you're the team without hammer, but if they can make this run back, I think they'll be sitting pretty good.
Yep, see what Tyler's got in store here.
They're going to need to go, Sean.
Yep, this is over curling. Looks like it might get the yellow, which still would not be bad. No, gets the red, little tap, little roll in.
Get going.
There you go. Nothing wrong with a little pro side plan B.
Yeah.
Get that roll in. You do lose the red at the top of the 12 foot that was preventing use of that corner guard, but you come in beside the yellow. It is wide open here. Not much of an overlap, so should be able to get the open hit here for Brent, but a double is likely to be left here for Team Fermanagh.
Yeah, I expect Brent to make this shot. Maybe roll away a little bit would be the ideal.
Yeah, you don't want to hit it too thin, though. I don't think you want to disrupt that yellow too much.
Not too much, no. You're right.
Big sweep here from the guys as this one is going pretty hard. Looks like they're going to get a flop under.
Ooh. Which one did they hit first?
It looked like a simultaneous, but that works out pretty well for Team Horwood as Steve is able to push that red or sweep that red all the way back, and they are sitting 3 and a lot of pressure now on Team Fermanagh.
Yeah, we've got, what are we going to do here? We need to play probably appeal. It's facing 3, I don't know. You might like to get another one in there.
Yeah. So it is Patrick Watson here looking to help out, looking to bail out. Bad situation right now for Team Fermanagh. And looked like just a straight call was, or a straight peel was the call here, but he is wide out of his hand. So trying to make it curl.
Let's see if we can make it curl and get one of those ones in the house. It's curling.
It's coming up. It's going to get something in the house.
Got the top one there.
Is it going to go far enough? Big sweep, and they do get it out. So not the call, but a better situation here. That was probably the most, the rock that was the most threatening here for Team Fermanagh. Now you got one that's behind the 4 foot in the 8 foot, and the one out in the wings. You can deal with it if you need to. So again, that's not what they called, but certainly I think Team Fermanagh will take that.
Yeah, definitely not a bad result. You get rid of a very difficult rock to remove. Or to deal with, and now everything's sort of at the T-line or behind. We've got Team Horwood third, Andy Quigley, shooting here, and if he can put one in a really good spot, it's going to put that pressure right back on Team Fermanagh.
Yeah, I think they want to put it essentially where that yellow was.
Yeah, and it looks like it's over curling, Sean.
It is. They're going to be a struggle to get this past the guard. Big sweep. They do
get
it by.
And will it stop in time?
And a little deeper than where the other one was, but right on the tee line. It is, though, Scott, about half open on the other side. Just a sign of how much curl we're getting here at the Ottawa so far this year. And that's been consistent really since late September when we started out.
Yeah, and we heard the rocks were retouched just a couple weeks ago here. So even us who play here all the time are still getting used to the curl that we're seeing. And so we're seeing it even here today.
Yes, so Patrick here is being called into a freeze because that rock comes a couple feet deeper. They're going to, Chris is called for the freeze here, and this one is going to need a big sweep here.
Yeah.
Guys are going to get it over the hog line, but that is not what they were looking for. That is a tough ask in the first game, first end, for going from a peel all the way down to a freeze. So a very delicate shot for Patrick. Unfortunately for them, unable to get that. And now a real good chance here for Andy. Put one in a great spot, and Chris might not have a lot to throw at here, Scott.
Yeah, if he puts it in a good spot, you're right. I think weight should be about the same, going with the opposite turn, the clockwise turn this way. So we should see a similar weight to the last one.
Yeah, now Andy, as you can see, is a lefty, so you're going to get a little bit of a different action. This is his out turn compared to the in turn for a righty, so maybe a little straighter on the out turn side, but this one does appear to be moving nicely. They like the weight.
Haven't touched it just till the very end.
The end, Steve's out to give it a little bit of help, and that is a wonderful spot there.
Hard to put it much better than that, Sean.
Yeah, you couldn't really walk it down to a much better spot. The only minor thing that might come out of that, I don't know, is there enough space now for Chris to draw in, potentially get a corner freeze here on that shot stone?
I mean, it's definitely there. We've seen how much they've curled. We saw that one just curl. So it's there. It's going to have to be the perfect weight and really managed well by the sweepers down the ice.
Yeah, this is what every skip wants, right, Scotty? Is first end, shot against 4. In your qualifying game here, trying to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, especially like you mentioned at the beginning there, Sean, a 6-end game. Boy, it could get late really quick here, unless we see some heroics from team.
Over about a half a rock, so the shot stone is more accessible for the next one. And because Steve is really looking to put the pressure on, we'll see if he elects to hit that back red, sit 5. Or he could draw and take this away from Chris and be satisfied with the 3. Scott, first end here, as we said, 6-end game. A 3 is pretty big, so you don't really need to hit that back one. Mm-hmm. But what would you do in this spot?
Sean, there's a time when it's good to get greedy, and I don't know if now is exactly that time. So, like you said, the one out that Team Firmenich has is throwing that freeze right on the one on the button, right?
Yeah, that's the shot.
And if you take that away, I don't really know what they do. Maybe they're able to do. Oh, and it looks like they've changed their call from the hack here.
Not ideal to change it from the hack, especially first shot of the game for Steve. If he's coming down with a hit in mind, for him now to change it in the hack, that's a bit of a big ask.
Yeah, you don't love it, but Steve's a good player. You know, he should be able to take that time, refocus, and here we go.
Big shot here early in this game. Steve Horwood, the skip of the aptly named Team Horwood.
It's funny how those teams get named aptly, eh?
Yeah, a bit of a slip there for Steve coming out of the hack, but it was after he let go of the rock, so we'll see how this plays.
Looks a bit big.
Bit big, bit wide.
Maybe play it down to that red after all. Oh, it's overcurled for that.
Yeah, you don't want to give him a wall back there. And they will come out, and that will go all the way through. So again, not saying that was because they exchanged a shot in the hack, but tough to go from a hit to a draw there. In particular, a very precise draw.
Yeah, exactly. That you don't want to be having to shift your mindset. It's such a tight turnaround. So a real tough one there for Team Horwood, but you know they're still sitting 3.
Yeah.
With hammer, right?
Yep.
So Not all bad. Not all bad.
Yeah, you're not going to complain about that. And as you said, Steve is a very good player. Was on the league champion team for Thursday men's last year here at the Ottawa with Scott McCambly, and they've had a good season so far this year. They're up in the A division.
Wow.
Bit of a road bump a couple weeks ago. They had a 4-point lead in the game, and unfortunately for them, weren't able to hold on to it. But overall, it's been a very good season for them.
That didn't happen to be a team you were playing on, was it?
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
Who's to say? Who's to say? So big shot here for Chris Ferminick. Last rock for him here in the first end, facing 3, looking for a very precise draw. The bailout shot here for Team Ferminick in the first.
Yeah, sweepers seem to like it, Sean. This is going to have the exact right weight and line to be useful. We don't want to see it chip off at all.
No, now they're trying to make it curl here. You want to get to the face of the shot stone. You don't want to bump off, though.
Yeah, the speed looks pretty good.
Trying to get it in, just get it curl a little bit. You don't want to bump, just a little bump off. But it is the shot stone. Red is sitting 1, and it's going to be Steve with a hit for 4, maybe 5. Scott, how aggressive would you want to be if you get just over the top of the shot stone, maybe about, what do you think, 7/8 to 3/4, you might have something here for 5.
Yeah, I mean, ideally what you'd like to do here, Sean, is nose this rock. And that should be plan A. Nose it, get your 4, get out of town. If it happens to curl a little more and make that double, that's great. What you don't want to do is have it over curl and dead jam.
Yeah.
Because at that point, you're only getting 2, given where the other rocks are placed. So, big shot here.
Yeah, so really important here for Brent and Chris on the sweep to have the weight down, make sure they call it correctly, because get the nose, but you can get aggressive and potentially try to make it sweep. So out of his hand, they're indicating maybe a little heavy. No sweep yet. Now they're gutting on it. Big call here from Andy.
Getting into it.
Big sweep. Can they get it? They get the shot stone, but it dead jams. Shooter is going to roll away. Looks like it's 1 yellow.
1 yellow. They're going to be upset with themselves for that one, Sean. You're right. The weight did look a bit heavy out of the hand, but just over curled.
It really went hard, yeah. They called it heavy out of his hand. They weren't touching it, and I don't know if that grabbed something or just that got a huge amount of curl. With that weight, bit of a surprise.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise. So we'll see how they bounce back. Team Ferminick now has got to be feeling real good, right?
Yeah, when you can escape like that, there's a lot of pressure on you. And I don't think Chris is necessarily going to be thrilled with his last one. It wasn't exactly what I wanted, but it was a very, very good shot and gets him out of a whole heck of a lot of trouble.
Absolutely, absolutely, Sean. And, at this first end break, as we get ready, we want to give some shout-outs here. So first shout-out to sponsor, platinum level sponsor here, Eric Sangster Mortgage. Thanks for all the support and helping to put on this great bonspiel. So far, it's going really good.
Yeah, these type of events are impossible without the sponsors. So, yeah, big thanks to Eric Sangster Mortgages and all the sponsors here at the 2025 Rainbow Rockers Bonspiel. It's the Over the Rainbow Bonspiel is, I believe, the name, and the Rainbow Rockers Curling League.
That's right, Sean.
Yeah, we want to be precise as we get everything going here. So great rock here to kick off the second end. A perfect center guard for Team Horwood, and now it's up to Team Ferminick to see how they want to react. We saw Steve called the come around last end, and it looks like Chris is going to do the same.
Yeah, Chris and I are of the same mind, Sean. This is exactly what I would do in this situation. Try to get one in there and set the tone early.
So again, Patrick Tackney, the lead for Team Ferminick, and saw him be a bit wide on the intern last end. This one looks a little wide as well. Maybe a bit hot. Nothing from the sweepers so far.
Yeah, I think given that it got out into that wider track, really helped the speed of that one. But, just right past the tee line, pretty good. Pretty good.
So, Scott, for anyone who's watching who doesn't have a club like the Ottawa here where you have boards on every sheet, in my experience, not the most common setup. But what do the boards do when you have a board on one side, nothing on the other side, and it's not an end sheet either? Like I think all curlers are familiar with the end sheet, but what are these sort of mid-level? Frankly, they're structural integrity boards.
Yes.
Is why they're here. But what does that do to a rock?
Well, once it gets out there, it can tend to fall a bit. You can get a little more frost out there. The ice keepers here do an amazing job. The ice makers, rather. So it's just once you get out there, it becomes a little harder to sweep too. If you're walking beside the rock, you're worried about the board. You can see rocks stay out a little bit longer before they take that curl and finally come in.
Yeah, and you won't see that on the other side where there's no board. It does react differently once you get outside, really mid 12-foot line on both sides of the sheet. So you really can't say, well, this is happening on the outturn side, so it should happen on the insert side. The boards really do change that. So we saw a hit attempt there for Team Horwood. Team Horwood lead Brent Steele comes up and unfortunately for them gets the guard, rolls over to a corner position. So Team Firmenich actually in a pretty good spot here with a corner guard, and this one is going to come up a little short, but not a bad spot for Firmenich. They can use that.
Yeah, I think they can use that rock. It's close enough it might be splittable even if they want to later on, but they could raise it, they could run it back. A lot of good things you can do with that one.
Yeah, but the shot stone is still open, so now we're on seconds rocks. This is Chris Motz. Going for the hit, Steve, I think, would be thrilled if he could maybe tuck this under the guard.
Yeah, if you can roll it a rock, it'd be pretty good. At the same time, a nose is not bad.
Yeah.
Start moving it up in the house, and we've seen it just take off. Sean,
Yeah,
I think that might have.
Yeah, that one had to have picked. That one went way too far. That one was pretty good out of his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the fifth stone of the end. So the red one will be replaced. 5 rock rule in effect for anyone who is watching who is unfamiliar with the 5 rock rule. You cannot remove a stone from play that is in front of the rings before the 6th rock of an end. Well, an opponent's stone. You can remove your own.
That's right.
If you're so inclined, but not an opponent's stone. So they'll replace that, and now we'll look and see what Chris is going to call, and looks like he's going to go with a guard. Scott, what do you like here?
I kind of like going in behind that corner guard that you've got. It's there. Might as well try and use it. The problem is that Team Horwood, is going to play that hit on the red. So I don't really mind this. Get something in front. If you end up tucking behind that center, even better, right? Give yourself sitting 2, and you're pretty happy.
Yeah. So this is Tyler Varanen with his first here in the second end. And this one is over curling as well, Scott. So everything coming off the board side here on sheet number 2, going pretty hard. Now we saw last end things going hard into the boards as well. So I think these teams are going to have to adjust to, based on the calls that we've seen so far, I'm guessing it was a little straighter this morning.
Yeah, and it probably was. This, in the morning draw, you've got that fresh base pebble with the smaller pebble on top, so you tend to take some time to be able to break down that base pebble and get that curl. So, yeah, both teams being fooled a bit the same way. So now we're seeing like a board weight shot.
Yeah, that looks like ice for board here for Chris Motz. His last rock here in the second end. It's
hanging
out though, and it's going to just be off nose on that corner guard, roll over to the center.
Yeah, so to me, Sean, that's a little more confirmation that the last one picked.
Yeah.
Right. A lot more weight on that shot, but yeah. No, we didn't see it react the same way.
Yeah, that was a bit of a soft release, too, for Chris. Not a lot of rotation on that one, which I think further surprises me that it didn't curl as much. But it looked like out of his hand we only got about a 3/4 turn on it, 3/4 rotation. So not ideal. And I wouldn't take, if I'm Steve and Chris, I don't know how much I take away from really either of Chris's rocks there, because first one we think picks, and second one a little soft on the release.
Yeah. So Tyler here, aiming to get one in behind. It looked pretty good, but just a bit light, and really took that curl.
And the lights just went off. very briefly here. Are we still on, guys? Did that affect us? We're good to go. Okay. That was a little strange. A little flash of the lights here at the Ottawa Curling Club.
It's just, Sean, something that happens. There's always excitement at the over the rainbow bonspiel.
You never know what's going to happen. You got to love it. It's very important here for Andy with Team Horwood in a tough spot. Got to keep your focus after that.
Yeah, and he's going way wide for the end turn, right out to the edge of the 12-foot. I'll say in turn because it's his in turn. It's the clockwise turn.
Yeah, very WCF of you, Scott, to do clockwise versus counterclockwise.
Thanks. I take my tips from the pros, right?
Yeah. This one just, again, outside that 12-foot line, it's really hard to get your speed right. But you have to take that much line given where, like, this is fully buried behind the yellow.
Yeah.
So if you've got to go out that far to get the speed or to get the curl to get enough room, you're going to have to adjust. And I think these guys will, still early in this game.
Yeah. You'll have to add a bit of speed, on especially paths that we haven't seen very much. So nobody had played that side of the sheet coming this way yet.
Yep.
So the first one you always expect to be a bit slower. Are we going to see a raise here from Patrick Watson?
That does look like tight ice for a straight come around for Patrick, and he's a little inside, and I think he's flipped it in addition to sliding in. So this is on a red. I think they're trying to sweep it to be on the center line red, but I don't.
Just going.
They got to go hard on it. Maybe a little light here for Patrick as well. See if they can get an angle, though. That'll help him later. That does unlock that center line red, which, given the amount of curl, now they have a couple options here on what to do on this side of the shoot.
Yeah, there's definitely multiple options for them now with those rocks out in front.
Yeah.
So not a bad end result.
Yeah, and you just saw that shot there. Again, great work from the camera team here at the Ottawa. You can see the three reds lined up in a row there. So you got some options here for Team Fermanagh. And again, it's going to be important for Andy here to adjust that speed. Looks like Steve has them a few inches further out. So you want to make sure you add some speed, but you don't want to throw it through the curl. Really tough shot here for Andy.
Real tough shot for Andy. Sweepers are not liking it. It looks big.
It looks a little big, but see if it comes down with the curl. It's trying to walk over.
Yeah, just a real tough position there to be, to come up a little bit light in your first. You go out, add a bit more weight, but because you threw your first one there, it's spot sped up a bit, and it's easy to do that. So a tough one there, but at the same time, for Team Fermanagh's just hitting the one.
Yep.
It's a dangerous situation for Team Horwood, but they're not threatening to score 4 or 5.
Well, at least not yet. So let's see what Patrick does here. They did call a raise here to tap in the outside red. Getting that big swing here on the insert side. Big sweep here to hold the line.
Yeah, gotta go.
Maybe a bit light too, and it will tap it into the top of the 12-foot. So it is still one for Team Fermanagh, but they do have the second one in the house.
Yeah. Couple options for Team Horwood here, Sean. I think you could play the double on the stone that was just thrown into the shot stone. What that does, though, is it gives Team Fermanagh a chance to sink one even better.
Yep.
Or you could try to do it yourself. Come through that port. We've seen it swing. You in theory could get one through there, and if you do get through there and your weight's good, you're going to be top 4 foot, and it's going to be impossible to remove.
Yeah, if you could ever put one top button, you're in really good shape. I think Chris would have to probably use the one that Patrick just threw, try to slash it in. If you can get one top button here, I think that'd probably be his play. I wonder, too, could you throw some weight, Scott, at the shot stone, and if you get that outside red, you're happy with it. Obviously, you don't want to over curl, and because that red on the center line is going right into your yellow, which you wouldn't want. But if you err on the side of being outside, I'm wondering if there's space there.
Yeah, well, Sean, it seems like Team Horwood has changed their shot in the hack again.
Yeah, that's 2 for 2 on Steve's first shots here so far in this game, changing in the hack. Don't mind this. They just threw this with Andy a couple times, so should have a sense of what this will do.
And the sweepers should know, and they're going to get it around.
They're going hard, and it is curling very hard here. Big sweep
Weight's
from
good.
the front end.
They can get it by. Oh, and they're by.
Will it get enough of the 4 foot? It will not, but a great shot by Steve Horwood, even just to cut down now the scoring area for Team Firmenich.
Absolutely, Sean. That was a great team shot. The sweepers were involved right away, communicating back and forth the weight. The line call was really good, so a real good team shot from Team Horwood.
So now if you're Chris and Team Firmenich, looks like kind of only have one option here, is to try to get through that hole, get top button yourself.
I mean, you could tap the one that you had just thrown out there, sitting, biting top 12. Try to tap that into a shot stone position.
That does, I think, present a risk of
opening up the shot
stone right now. And,
exactly.
I think there's might be a hole there for a hit on the shot stone, but it is very difficult. So if you tap and you're ever a little thin on it or heavy, you don't want to give Steve, certainly based on that draw, you don't want to give him another draw here. So
yeah,
if you can kind of cut down Steve's options here, if you put one just top button. So if Chris could walk this down, I think he'd put it just touching the center line, full 4 foot above the button.
Yeah, I think that'd be ideal. The hole does look smaller on the screen than it does sort of to my eye looking at it, but let's see what he does here.
So it's only the second end, but Chris Firmenich has had really high pressure shots so far in this game. He's 3 for 3 on tough shots. All 3 have been in-turn draws to the 4 foot. This one is hanging out a little bit, and they're going to look like they're going for the plan B with the tap.
Play that tap, yeah.
Angle's pretty good on it. Is the weight there?
Oh, it's perfect.
Right into the button, and they are covering the pin, it looks like. So it is 2 right now for Team Firmenich, as Steve Horwood is going to have to bail his team out this time, as the tables are a little turned from last end.
Yeah, that was a pistol there by Chris. Just, absolute right weight, absolute right line for that tap. Just bang on. You can't do it any better than that.
No, absolutely not. So a tough shot here, but as we said, this does open up that hole a little bit. The stone that Chris just threw rolled off a bit, so Steve can come down. He has a little more room on the intern side here. Looks like they are calling for a bit of a tap on the shot stone. So if he can move that back about a foot or two, should be shot stone. And even if he comes and freezes on it, there won't be much for Chris to try and get a second point.
Exactly. I think if you're Team Horwood, what you want to be doing here is cutting them down. Make it such that 2 is the most they can, or 1 is the most they can score. And like you said, Sean, if they make that perfect freeze, they'll achieve that goal.
So we saw a great team shot earlier in the end on Andy's second. Now the stone is with Chris and Brent, the front end, and they are on it all the way here.
Gotta go.
Pulling up. It looks like it has to curl a bit. It's still on the corner red. Trying to make it curl, trying to get it over. Will it get by? It won't, but a bit of a tap, and it will push the shot stone back. Not enough to be shot, but it does look like Chris Firmenich and those guys are down to sitting 1, Scott.
Yeah, it's a perfect ad-lib call there from Andy, seeing that it was a bit wide, knowing that they needed to get that curl even to make that tick. Good line call on the end of it. And if you're Team Firmenich, I don't know. I might just put this in the boards and be happy I get my 1.
Well, with the amount of curl you're getting, if you throw it light, I don't know how much risk there is. Because if you get to the nose of the yellow, you're not giving up a point. So you do just have to get to the inside of the yellow. If you can get to the face of yours, that's ideal. But this is a very difficult shot for Chris.
Yeah, you got to play this as a draw. No more weight than that, right? It's got to be a straight draw right to the button if you're even going to attempt it. Because I do think there's a lot of risk here.
If you're ever wide and chip him over,
Yeah.
it's not great. If you're heavy as well, so you're right. There is a lot of risk, but, Scott, these guys came in from Toronto. You don't travel to play cautiously.
Exactly. You want to go for the gusto
That's right.
when you've got the opportunity. And you know what? Prove me wrong. Play it and make it.
I like it. Again, I don't know how much the 6-end game might play into this call, too.
That's true. A little bit fewer opportunities to come back.
Yeah.
And get multiple points. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So when you got a chance for a multiple, you got to take it here. So Chris Ferminick, last rock here in the 2nd end. Bit of a heavy
line looks good, but it's real light.
This is really light. So not much of a chance really the whole way down on that one. So it's going to be 1 red, and we got a tie game after 2 here in this D qualifier at the 2025 over the Rainbow Bonspiel.
Yeah, Sean, nice couple ends put together by both these teams. We've seen a lot of rocks in play. You'll love to see it. And I got to think that trend's going to continue. Both these teams neck and neck right now.
Yeah, a really good start to this game, and what we've seen in both ends is the team with Hammer putting a lot of pressure on the other side, and the skips on their last in each end have come up with some bailout shots. Neither one has been exactly as called, but both have worked out pretty well.
Pretty well indeed, Sean. As we go to the 3rd end, let's thank another one of our sponsors, TD Bank, here, helping to provide the commentary as well.
Yeah, the setup, this whole sheet, we are on sheet 2. That is sponsored by TD Bank. This is the showcase sheet. So big thanks to TD Bank, Scott. It is currently the baseball off season, but we're also going to see a lot of TD Bank during the baseball season.
Oh, yes.
Big sports supporter across the country, various sports, and certainly our thanks to TD Bank for sponsoring Sheet 2 and providing the live streaming.
Exactly. That's why we're here, Sean. And first shot of the end underway is up. A little off center guard here. Probably wanted it closer to the center line, but that's okay.
Yeah, so this actually gives Team Horwood a good chance here, because that is going to serve as a corner guard. So Steve is calling Brent to come around, and it takes the play off the center line if this is made. So a bit of a miss there for Team Ferminick, and Steve and Team Horwood are going to try and take advantage of that and make it so that the entire end is off the center line.
Yeah, this is really what you want to do when you've got the hammer. Make sure that center is open for your last shot, so that if you need to, you can get in there and get that point.
Yeah, and as we saw last end, the forefoot can get pretty full pretty fast. So here we go with Brent coming in just a little deep, and they didn't get that big finish. So this is what we talked about at the first end, Scott, where when you're trying to go outside in, it will hug the center line for a while. Once it gets off the center line, it'll go. But as we saw there, looked like Brent let it go on the 4-foot line, and then it's just going to hang there for a while. So going to be a tough end here, given where that corner guard is, to get one perfectly buried. But that's in a pretty good spot right now.
Yeah, it's in a good spot, and we're seeing Team Ferminick come and put up another center guard, I think, is the call. Or is it right into the rings?
Didn't see where he tapped the broom. I don't actually mind either of those, to be honest.
No, I agree. I think what you want to be able to do is put your rocks in a position such that you can use them later in the end.
Yeah. So big sweep here for Tyler to try and get it to curl. And that's a very nice shot by Patrick Tackney.
Pretty good.
14. Ferminick, and my apologies, I think that was actually Patrick sweeping, Patrick Watson sweeping. So good shot there. Bit of a bump, but still something for Team Horwood to be careful with. Again, given how sometimes these rocks can hug the line. So tough shot here for Brent.
Yeah, real tough going across the center line to cross the face of this one. I believe they want to get at least nose. Across the face would be good. And yeah, if you put any outside motion on it, it's going to be hard to come back.
So nothing yet from Andy or Chris. Trying to make a curl at the end. It'll dead jam and roll to the back 12-foot shooter will roll out, so it is red. Team Firmenich sitting 1. But I think if you're Steve, obviously it's not what the call was, but that's not the worst possible result by having that roll to the back of the 12 foot.
Absolutely not. You don't hate it, Sean. What you want to make sure of is that you're keeping the play away from the outside, and that shot, well, not what was called, accomplished that.
So now it's Tyler Hyvärinen with his first here in the second end, looking to come around that corner guard.
Yeah, sweeper seemed to like it out of his hand. The weight looks a little up.
A little deep.
This should stick around.
Yeah, so they are sitting 2. I think Steve will ignore these.
Yeah. Yeah, those are behind the tee line, Sean. When rocks are behind the tee line, we all know you can't improve them, right? They can never get better than they are.
Yeah.
So with those rocks being both in the back 12, you can't make them any better than that. So you might as well use them as backing. So try to put a rock in and make it harder to remove.
So this is Team Horwood's second. Chris Mott's his first here in the third end. This is a wider line than what we've seen.
Yeah, we see both the sweepers heads down here.
Going on it hard. Andy's on the inside because they do need this to curl a bit.
That's right.
But it is going to come up just a bit light. Or
Might
will
be
it?
second shot.
That's a great sweep by those guys. I thought that was dead halfway between the hog and the house.
Yeah.
Great sweep by Brent and Andy.
Great sweep, and I think we're seeing the rocks glide a bit more at the end now. You know, that first layer of pebbles been broken down, and yeah, we're seeing some good finish.
So this is a hack weight hit that Chris has called. Again, see how this reacts with the added weight coming off that center line.
Yeah, that's
I like
right on the line right away. Gotta go.
They're going on it hard. Coming up on that guard, it is going to sneak by. In contact with the yellow. Will it get all the way through? Chris Firmenich on the sweep, and for the first time in the history of the sport, a skip has an impact with a sweep.
Wow, Sean, you don't see that every day.
You really don't.
With skips having the impact, but good job there, getting that rock out, and yeah, they're now sitting 3.
Yeah, so again, putting pressure on Team Horwood here. Should note there, Scott, in the notes we got for the team that these guys have been able to play a game at the Players' Championship in Toronto on the ice there. And Jennifer Jones is very complimentary of Chris Firmenich, as I just was. So me, Jennifer Jones, I think that's the same level of compliment.
I think so, Sean. Both people who speak into microphones for quasi-livings, right?
Yeah, so there you go. Now, a bit of a heavy shot there for Team Horwood. Certainly not what they were looking for. And now, good chance here for Team Firmenich to really put the pressure on.
Yeah, a bit of an unfortunate one there. You know, just a few rocks had been thrown in that one spot, a little extra weight, and managed to split the uprights. So we're going to see Team Firmenich now with the chance to lay 4, really put the pressure on Team Horwood. The sweepers are going hard. Line's pretty good. So are they going to be able to get it there? Not quite, but it does its job, you know, in protecting what's already there in the house. I think Steve and the team are going to have to come in now. You know, it's late enough in the end that they're going to have to really put some pressure on.
Yeah, so Andy's going to have to make a bit of a bailout shot here. I don't know, Scott, would you like a peel here, or do you like this call?
With the other team sitting 3, Sean, I don't really like a peel. I think if you can make this you're going to be putting yourself in a good spot. So put this one top 8 foot behind that guard that was just thrown. You're gonna force them to throw like a run back perhaps, or something, but they're going to be the ones chasing.
Yes.
So that's what you want to do, make the other team chase you.
And Andy, this is a really good one there. Just going to barely bite the top 4 foot, and it is dead buried behind that red stone. So really good setup here now for Team Horwood. And as you said, Team Firmenich is going to be chasing. Patrick's going to need a good one here.
Yeah, if you could have walked that stone down, Sean, I think that's where you would have put it. So real good shot. And we're going to see Team Firmenich try the run back. That's the indication we see from the other end.
Yeah, so a big weight shot here now for Patrick is coming down the ice. Not a lot of ice for him. See what kind of curl we get here. This is very release sensitive here, these upweight shots.
Yeah, it looks like he's throwing it pretty pure.
Trying to make it curl. It's got to come up a bit, and it will not. So straight peel as it'll go through those red ones in the house. That's a tough shot to not make any contact with those red ones in the house. But that shot stone is now exposed for Team Horwood, and we'll see what Steve decides to do.
Yeah, I think, given this is his third's last rock, coming in behind that sort of quasi-corner, which is top 12, I think that's the way to go. And that seems what he's called?
I think so. Would you ever consider, Scott, maybe tapping yours and trying to roll over there?
Yeah, you could definitely do that. But what you don't want to do in this situation, John, is set up a double. Because Team Firmenich is versed in making doubles. They had to make consecutive double takeouts in their first game to secure that win.
Yeah, so that's knowing the scouting report here for Team Horwood and not wanting to give Chris one of those. This one is coming in. Looks like it will make contact with the shot stone. Trying to make it curl a bit to roll off. A bit of separation there between the two. But I think there is a double here for Team Firmenich.
Yeah, definitely a double there. It's not easy. It's not an easy double. You're going to have to hit it just right. And we'll see where that first stone with which they make contact, we'll see where that goes. I don't think it goes back onto anything in the back of the house, but depends on the angle, eh?
Well, yeah, I think if you hit on the nose or on the low side, even a hair on the low side, it might go back into what is now, I think, third shot stone at the back of the 12-foot in roughly, this 5 o'clock position. Mm-hmm. It might go there, but if you get nose or keep it on the high side, you should be in good shape here to get this double, and you should be sitting right top of the 8-foot here. So again, we're seeing a lot of pressure being put on these skips. Chris has not had an easy shot yet, not had a low leverage shot so far, and here's another one for him.
Yeah, Sean, as a skip, you always want to be throwing guards, but it's not been the case for these two skips here today.
Here's Chris Firmenich, his first here in the third end, facing two. They are on it right out of his hand.
Yeah, they got to go. It's close, though.
Big sweep here. It was going to get the top. Will it jam? Yes, but it will roll out. Shooter also rolls out, so it is Team Horwood sitting one here with Steve's first one coming down.
Yeah, so a bit of a break there for Team Horwood. We talked about the center line, Sean, and that was an example of where it just curled too much, going towards the center. So we'll see. This is a great opportunity for Team Horwood to sit their two. Again, they're going to not want to set up a double, because you set up a double, that's the only way that Team Firmenich is going to be bailed out of this end, right?
Yeah, so Andy, you just saw, he tapped his broom there in the 4-foot. It looks like they're calling this for center line in the 4-foot, about 3 o'clock there as you're looking down here on the screen. That could set up a double if they're a little light on this. If you're deep, you wonder if Chris would take a run at the freeze to bail out of this end. So Steve and the guys are going to have to be very careful about where they put this. You're going to need good communication the whole way down the sheet because, as you said, Chris can make those doubles. So you want to be very careful on rock placement here for this shot.
Yeah, Sean, that's going to be the key.
So Steve Horwood with his first here in the third end, already sitting one, looking to put the pressure on Team Firmenich. Nothing yet from the front end of Brent Steele and Chris Motts. Nothing doing here. Now they're on it here as we get to the hog line. Big sweep here. Looks like they're going plan B, trying to tap the shot stone. Taps it to the top of the button, and they are sitting the two for the moment. Scott, is there a double there here for Chris? Another one for him to take a run at.
Yeah, Sean, there's definitely a double there. It's going to be a similar shot to the one he just threw. It seems like they might be thinking about just hitting the shot stone, though. I don't think that's what I would do.
It's a risky call, potentially, but you can roll your shooter into a really good spot if you get that shot stone and can get it under cover here. So it could be looking at maybe they're talking about a potential steal. If you get a really good roll, steal's in play.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess when you're looking at the scoreboard, things are tight. It's been sort of a tight back and forth all game. Hey, there might be a chance for a steal. You might want to go for it.
Yeah. Again, we can't hear them. They're not mic'd up, but I do wonder if the 6-end game is coming into their thinking here at all. Here is a chance. Hard shot for sure. I don't know if it's harder than the double, and this one has a potential for a higher steal equity. Right? If you make the double, I would expect Steve to make the open draw into full 8-foot.
For sure.
So this is a chance potentially for them to steal, and he did just throw this turn. So the other with the double, you're probably switching out your turn. So you know what to expect on this one. But now a discussion in the hack, wondering if the front end is fully in on this shot.
Yeah, it looks like they're talking about the weight, Sean, exactly what the weight is for this one.
Especially since the last one did over curl from what they wanted.
That's right. But in this case, if it over curled and you got the top one only, at least you wouldn't be giving up a 3. I think that's...
Yeah, I think that's got to be part of the thinking here.
The saving grace. Yeah, you definitely don't want to put yourself in a position where you're giving up 3.
Yeah, and you see Patrick at the other end just waiting. Scott,
Oh,
they're going to go for the double.
Yeah, I think the front end talked him into it, Sean. And I remember doing that quite a few times when we played front end, talking our skip into something, and then not being super successful most of the time.
And how's that team doing now, Scott?
Well, the remnants are doing okay. But, yeah, so, he's going to have to put that other shot out of his mind, throw a good one here.
Fortunately, it's the same weight. You're not going from, a draw to a hit or anything. So the weight's the same, but he is wide out of his hand, trying to make this one curl to make contact, and it will not. It floats it out a bit, and it does not come back. So it's going to be an open draw for 3 for Team Horwood.
Yeah, Sean, that's the kind of time when you think maybe the front end shouldn't talk the skip into something he doesn't want to do, but at the end of the day, it's a team sport. We win and lose as a team.
Yeah, that's another one you talk about process a lot of.
Yep.
Do you go back down? Do you reset yourself? But in this sort of setting, it's tough to do that. Bonspiel, there's people back here waiting to go on.
Yeah.
You don't want to set things back. So tough spot there for Chris and the guys. Is all they can do now is watch as Steve Horwood is in the hack, ready to go for a open draw for 3. Needs full 8-foot here and can really take a good advantage in this game with only 3 ends to play.
Yeah, Sean, and I'll try to get a time hog to hog on this rock just so we can see what we're looking with in this path.
Nothing doing yet from Chris and Brent.
Line looks real good.
Line looks really good. They're going to be into a yellow here. Just depends on the weight.
Yeah, should be fine.
Nothing doing, but Steve needs no help on that one. The open draw for 3, and it's going to be a 4-1 advantage for Team Horwood over Team Firmenich halfway through this D qualifier at the 2025 Over the Rainbow Bonspiel.
Yeah, perfect shot there. I had it timed just over 14 seconds, so probably back of the house would have ended up. And make no mistake, let's, Sean, in between ends, get some shout-outs for a few more of our sponsors. Stroked Ego, from a sponsor from Kevin Martin.
Yeah, Kevin Martin, good guy, Scott. I should say Kevin Martin, one of the most curious deliveries you're ever going to see on a curling sheet. He's got, he throws right-handed, but he uses a slider on his right foot. So he kicks out of the other hack, and he's got slider and hand the same.
Yeah, and Kevin is standing right behind us. So,
or did I get the wrong Kevin? Oh, I got the wrong Kevin. Okay, it's the other Kevin that does that. Kevin Martin's right here. Kevin, what's an interesting fact about you so I can correct the record?
I definitely don't throw like the other guy.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Much better, yeah. A member of the defending Thursday Night League champions, teammate of Steve Horwood. So my apologies for that, but there's another Kevin here who throws weird, so there you go.
We've also got Skanes General Contracting and the YOW home team, who were the teams playing against each other in the previous stream on this sheet, Sean. So a shout out to both of them as well as we get the fourth end underway.
Yeah, so a center guard here for Team Horwood to kick off the fourth end. I didn't see the call. Was Steve looking for the guard, or is he trying to change pace here and come in, given the 3-point lead?
I gotta think he was trying to come in, but to be honest, that's a pretty good spot. I never dislike a tight guard. You can always tap it up. You can use it to play a run back, and we'll see where these end up.
And that's not a terrible shot there for Team Firmenich. I don't mind that. I mean, granted, you're down 3. You'd probably like more stuff out in front, but you split that one in. Doesn't really do much damage. So Patrick's splitting that one in, and Steve's going to go after it. This is definitely scoreboard related. Being up 3 is going to go for it, but this should present some opportunities here for Team Firmenich. They're going to have to be patient here with no guards, but there are opportunities, I think, forthcoming.
Yeah, and we're seeing this a little further out than we've seen most other hits. It's hanging by the boards, and I think we're going to see something. Yeah, we're going to see a miss on that one. Tough spot.
Yeah.
Sean, Team Horwood, both their front end, Chris and Brent, are originally from Winnipeg, so I would expect them to know how to play those high hard ones.
Yeah.
Prairie weight.
Curiously, though, neither of them with a tuck.
Yeah, that's right. Good observation.
Yeah.
We're going to have to ask them about that after the game.
Yeah, that's not on our sheet, but we'll add it into the post-game questions. Why no tuck for either of them? So here we go now. Good chance here for Team Firmenich and Patrick Tackney to split the house. And again, if they can be patient here and keep the rocks where they want them, good chance for a 2 here as an early setup here in the fourth end.
Absolutely. And, even if we see this not get to the house, it could still be used as a guard.
Yeah, just going to come up short here, but it is in a position where it can be used. That yellow one, which is the shot stone at the moment, is open, so that guard could come into play.
Yeah, a little bit of hesitation here from Steve in going after this rock. Sometimes you see that when a rock runs the way you don't expect. It skips a little more gun-shy to put the broom down again, but I think he's calling the hit, and we should have a better idea of how things are going to run.
And you're never quite sure on a shot like Brent had if it's part of the release. Was he outside? It's tough. So now this one, it is curling pretty hard. They're going hard to get a piece of that red one, and they will not.
And that seems to always be the way, right? You miss one wide, and then the next one you put it a little further in, and it just overcurls. So
yeah. Tough spot there for Chris to try that, and Steve too, to ice it, because it can be very sensitive out there when you're wide.
Yeah, I think that was Brent throwing that one. That was Brent's first.
Oh, my apologies. Mixed up that on the sheet. That was Brent. So here we go now. Team Firmenich looking to split the house again. Try to come back. Probably want a bit of a tap on this yellow one, or at least be in a position where they can remove it later in the end.
Yeah, ideally, Sean. Ideally, your corner frozen, but
big sweep here to get it to curl. Looking to make some contact. It won't, and that is going to slide on through.
Yeah, tough one there. That inside-out curl with maybe just a little more weight than they wanted, Sean.
Yeah, so third time's the charm here for Steve Horwood. Well, hopefully for them, third time's the charm.
Yep, that's what they say. And it'll be the second chance for Brent to make the same shot. And, you always want that, right? When you're throwing, you want to be able to, if you miss one, you want to throw the same thing again and make it.
Now this one is wider, hanging out a little bit.
Starting to come.
Starting to come a little bit. Nothing from the sweepers. Trying to get a bit of curl here at the end. It will make contact, but will not remove the stone. So just like that, Team Fermanagh is sitting one and trying to come in here and sit two.
And Sean, if nothing else, they've removed the rock from that Bermuda Triangle area where they were unable to hit it. So it should be a lot easier to make contact now.
Absolutely. So here's a good chance for Tyler after that miss on the last one. Again, trying to make this one curl. This is a lot of weight as well as it comes down, really trying to get contact with the yellow one. Big sweep here. And it will just nick the yellow. Will it stay in play? It will not. So still sitting one. So we've seen a few tough paths here, Scott. Team Horwood missed on the outside hit a few times, and now Team Fermanagh has missed a few times on the draw to the outside.
Yeah, not cooperating the way they want. Those couple spots, just either a little up or a little out. A little each is not what the recipe called for today. That said, I would expect this shot here by Andy to be made. Pretty standard takeout.
Yeah, looks like a nice control weight here. Sweepers are on it. Just trying to hold the line here, but looks like a very nice shot right on the beak.
Yeah, real good shot. I like that weight too, Sean. A nice control weight. You're not risking, setting it too much and having it not come back. You've got a lot of ways you can control that kind of weight. So real nice shot there.
Yeah, definitely didn't overthrow that. It's really easy on an open hit like that to overthrow because you think, oh, this is an easy shot. So just whip it. You don't really pay attention. But, for those of you out there, you play in your rec leagues, the complicated run backs, you've got to be just as focused on the wide open hits. It's throw the right weight at the broom. You really got to focus in on every shot.
Yeah, Sean, absolutely. We're seeing an attempt to hit this one from Team Fermanagh.
Yeah, Patrick Wilson, his first here in the third.
A little hit and roll.
Trying to get a big roll over towards that corner. Not quite there, but this does give them, again, this is part of being patient in these games, Scott. You're slowly seeing the play move over to the outside behind that corner guard. So you got to like that for Team Fermanagh. They're in a position on the next one where they could probably get to a freeze position, roll over. So I think it's going to be important here for Andy to roll back towards the center.
Yeah, definitely wants to roll away from the situation. You're risking grouping those yellow stones and making it easier to make a double takeout or use them for Team Fermanagh to use them as backing. So yeah, it's going to be important to see where this one rolls to.
Trying to make it curl, trying to get across the top, and it'll stay high side. So it is Team Horwood sitting the two, but potentially a chance here for Team Fermanagh to get something going with either a hit and roll, potentially a double here. Let's see what Chris wants to do.
Yeah, we'll see what he wants to do. I think you could take a run at the double here, but you don't have to, which is nice, right? You could just nose this one, and it's still going to be tougher to remove because of where that second Yellowstone is positioned.
Yeah, so big shot here in this fourth end for Patrick Watson. On it right out of his hand. And this one is going very hard, Scott.
Yeah, Sean, it is.
It's going to be tough sledding to hit anything. It does lose the handle and just nicks the shot stone. So tough one there for Patrick. Not sure if that was if that picked something up or if that was just a bit of a soft release out of his hand, but certainly about 3/4 of the way down, that was not rotating anymore.
Yeah, that's tough. When you're trying to make a precise shot, you do need to remember to always turn that handle and make sure you get good rotation, because if not, it's going to start curling right away. So tough one there for Patrick, as you said, but when there's a tough one for one team, it's an opportunity for the other.
Yeah, so it looks like Steve is going to try to come in and sit in front of his 2 here, basically take that pocket away from Team Firmenich. What do you like here, Scott? You have options here. I don't mind this call to try to come over and take this away. Sit 3. You could come over into the 4-foot on the other side. You could go wide, split the house. But what do you like?
Yeah,
here?
Sean, I would split the house here. What your goal for this end should be is to force them to 1, right? Given that there's 2 ends left after this, you're already up 4-1. Just go draw wide side. Make sure there's no doubles, no triples that you could set up that would give them a chance to score a multiple.
So going with the draw. See, this one's hugging the center line a bit. Front end's calling it heavy.
Might try to come around behind. A little bump.
Trying to get it to curl here. It's going to clear the shot stone. Will it get out of play? Sweep here for Patrick, and it will slide all the way through. So not what he wanted on that one, and now gives Team Firmenich chance for a skips deuce here potentially.
Yeah, definitely a chance for the deuce. I might lean towards playing a double here and see if you can get it with a blank and try to build your 3 in the next end. But honestly, what you really need to do at this point is just make one of them go away.
Yeah, that's a good strategy. Make the other team's rocks go. If your rocks are in the house and theirs aren't, you're in good shape.
Hey, that's something you heard here first on the stream.
So here we go. A bit of a lesser degree of difficulty shot here for Chris. Scott, you throw the skip stone a lot. When you're in a game where you have a lot of high-stress shots, is there a challenge in going from really having to be really precise on all your shots to now this is an important shot, to be sure, but it's an open shot?
Yeah, there is at times a letdown, right? Because you're thinking, oh, well, this one's easy. I've just made a bunch of hard ones. And then the easy one is the one that you miss. So you're right. You really do need to be focused in on all of your shots, regardless of how hard or easy they seem to be.
So big sweep here right out of his hand. Saw the last one over curl. And this one is doing the same.
I think they're on the nose. Little, guess not.
Bit of an inside flop here.
So not too bad. They end up in the shot stone position. And they'll be looking for a way to score their 1 this end at least, right? They're not really at risk of a steal at this point.
Shouldn't be.
And anything's possible.
Stranger things have happened, of course. But yeah, you'd think you'd expect Steve to make this one go away, and then really a decision there for Chris and the team if they're more confident at this point of the game in a draw against the 2 or a hit and stick, assuming that Steve sticks around here. You might have heard reaction from across the sheets, Scott. Just a lot of great action here going on.
Yeah.
Teams not playing defensively based on the scoreboard, so some good stuff going on across the sheets here as Steve Horwood with his last rock here in the 4th end, trying to make this curl. It's got to come up to remove the shot stone.
Looks okay.
Very nice. Bit of a flop to the outside, so now we'll see what Team Firmenich wants to do, facing 2 with his last.
It looks like he's running up to put the broom down for that hit, Sean. That open hit, just a nose hit for Team Firmenich. Firmenich will give them the single point.
I think I like this. He's thrown more hits recently, and the team has this end. So I think I like this call. You could go with the outside in and maybe play a draw to that one that Steve just threw, the shot stone. But you always take a risk there with a draw if you come up light, over curls. Like the hit's a safer call. Even if you roll out here, you're down 4, the game's not over. Right? You give up 2, then you're looking at a really tough road back. You're a tough road back if you give up 1, but at most you want to give up 1 here if you make a mistake.
Yeah, for sure. And I think this is what I would default to too, Sean. I would default to the sort of control board weight hit. Looks like they've got the broom set for. So yeah, let's see him make it.
Yeah, and we have seen a few rocks down this path here this end with Team Horwood. Out of his hand, this looks a little wide, and they're going to have to make this curl. This has to curl a mile, Scott.
Unless it's light.
but they are not even going to give it a go. Maybe it will stop, but no, it looks like a board waiter. And that's going to slide through, so it'll be 2 more for Team Horwood and a 6-1 lead after 4 here in the D qualifier. So 2 ends left for Team Fermanagh. Going to have to put on a lot of pressure, take some chances here in the 5th end.
Yeah, Sean, it's gonna be tough. Tough row to hoe for Team Fermanagh to come back, but anything can happen here at the Over the Rainbow Bonspiel, is what I've been told. So you never know. You never know.
That's why we're not doing the live call in the night games, because anything can happen.
That's right. That's right. So a couple more sponsors to hear from here. We've got Shepherd Psychotherapy and Pivot Turn Property Management, both sponsors of this great event, enabling such a fun weekend of curling. So shout out to them.
Absolutely, and again, we thank all the sponsors for their support of this wonderful event, and always a popular spiel here in Ottawa. Always sells out really fast. Everyone wants to be here, and you can tell because it's about 27 degrees here in the warm room because there's a lot of people around.
Yeah, Sean, I brought my Game of Stones hoodie.
Unnecessary.
And I came in and immediately removed it as I was sweating coming in out of the snow. So, yeah, a lot of folks here, a lot of fun had by all.
Yeah, I think they've gone with a tropical theme in past years, and I now understand why. Really fitting. Everyone would want to be in shorts and T-shirts here, given how warm it is, but a wonderful event. We have Emma Miskew coming up tonight, is the feature speaker at the Saturday night event. So that should be a lot of fun for all the people here. If you're in the Ottawa area, the club is open if you want to come and watch some of the action live here at the Over the Rainbow Bonspiel as we kick off the 5th end here in this D qualifier. Great shot to kick us off. No more guards here for Team Horwood. They don't want that, so they come right in to the button. Team Fermanagh attempts the freeze, just over curls a bit, but a great weight shot there. So 2 good ones from the leads here, and it looks like Steve's going to call for the hit.
Yeah, Sean, I'm glad you made sure to give shouts to the leads, because I know the leads always get short shrift on these kind of streams and broadcasts and those kinds of things. So
well, they usually don't show their shots.
Exactly. So we make sure here that we tell you exactly what the leads did and how well they did specifically. Yeah.
So a tough one here for Chris. They are on this, trying to get it to stay straight. Don't want to take out their own as it curls in, and they're going to just off nose on their own roll away. Looks like red might be shot stone here in the 5th. Tough to tell. I'm guessing, though, Scott, both of those rocks will move before we count them up.
Very likely, very likely. That's one of those ones where, yeah, you would have liked to remove the red, but you removed the yellow. Not such a big deal at this point of the game, up 5 points. So it's going to be, I think what we're going to see, Sean, is a lot of, hey, just make the other team's colors go away. Not a lot of need for the Horwood team to get aggressive.
So they've called a guard here. They want to guard that red one. Don't mind this call. You don't always love throwing center guards here when you're down, but you do have that one in position. You want to try to extend this end as much as you can. I don't want to say they need 3, but they might need 3 here. Down 3 without the hammer, it's tougher to make the other team throw their last. Down 2, I think you're in a position where you can make Steve throw his last one, given that we're in the 5-rock rule.
Mm-hmm.
So a 3 here, and the game is in play for Team Fermanagh. So.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to need to do, Sean, is lock up at least a 3. You might need some help from your opponents, but it's possible.
So that guard comes up a little short and a little wide. Doesn't quite get to where they want it to be. So the shot stone is open here for Brent Steele, his first here in the 5th. Looks like they're going with just a board control weight. Very nice shot here. Going to get right up to the nose and remove the shot stone. And just like that, it is 2 for Team Horwood, as Team Fermanagh is going to have to move some stuff around here, Scott. I think given the scoreboard, I think I would like them more of just a tap here. I don't think you have to remove this rock from play, but what would you do here given that they're down the 5?
Yeah, it's hard, right? Because you want to make sure the rings are not cut down too much. So if you start tapping, you might reduce your scoring area to something like the 4 foot only. And by playing this to remove it, you're widening the scoring area, which at the point that we're at, I think is a pretty good play.
Yep, so you see that little flip out to the outside. So it's still 1. Sitting 1, Team Horwood, and Steve is, of course, going to play the hit here. You don't need to be too concerned about trying to protect that shot stone because, I mean, Steve, if you gave him the opportunity, he'd score here. He's
Sure.
not going to say no to points, but he doesn't need to score here.
No, exactly. So you won't see him messing around with in that center area given the scoreboard.
So again, another control weight hit here for Brent. Nothing from the sweepers so far, but it looks like it is going to come up and just again off the nose. Barely a bit of a flip to the outside. And once again, Team Horwood is sitting the 2.
Sean, I would expect nothing less from Brent because he is a tax accountant, and those 2 shots were on the money.
Well done, Scott. Well done. That's the sort of comment that the Spiel's getting what it's paying for from us. Comments like that. There you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well done there, Brent.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing an attempt here for a little tap freeze. Line looks pretty good from our angle.
Yeah, it's just a weight call here. Can they get it there? They certainly can. A little bit of a tap, bit of a roll. They are going to be shot stone. And one of those yellows at the back of the house. So something for Steve here to be careful about.
Yeah.
Not just on this shot, but for the rest of the end. Those ones at the back, as they collect, they can do some damage to you.
Yeah, you might serve as a catcher for the other team. You're a little off on this hit here, but I'd expect Andy to throw the right weight and miss this the right way if he's going to miss it.
Now again, it's his intern, so should get a little more curl than the rest of the players in this spot.
The sweepers are on it. I don't know if they have to be.
Don't have to be. It'll come up very easy there. Nice shot by Andy.
Right on the beak.
Yeah. So sitting the 3. So you're going to need a good one here for Patrick. You'd love, if you're Team Firmenich here, to be able to roll under that corner guard if you can, or even put yourself in a position where that back one becomes more of a danger in terms of the possibility of a jam. So see where they can come up with here. This one's floating a little bit. Going to try to make it curl here as it comes across the hog line into the house. Looks like they're going to roll it the other way. Will it stay in play, though? It will not.
Yeah, too bad. You really wanted to get your shooter stay in play on that one. A bit of a tough break there. So right now, Steve's sort of. What do you think he should do?
I honestly wouldn't mind peeling that guard.
Yeah,
to
that's
be
what I was
honest.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to come in here and sit the 3. Don't want to be deep. Don't want to be light here. Don't want to give them another guard, and you don't want to put anything behind the tee line here. So Andy, again, we talked about this last end, but these sorts of shots, it looks like it's pretty easy. Wide open house, you're just drawing in, but you want to be very precise here. You don't want to give it a chance to Team Firmenich because right now there's not much for them, so you don't want to give them anything.
No, that's right, Sean. That's right. And Andy is originally from Newfoundland, so we'll see if he's got Brad Gushu weight here. It looks pretty good.
Come in, it'll touch the button, maybe a little deep, but a pretty good shot there for Andy. You might want that a couple feet higher.
Yeah, a couple of feet higher would be ideal. And so we're going to see Team Firmenich look to put the pressure on with a freeze on that stone just delivered.
Yeah, so big shot here for Patrick, his last here in the 5th end. And if they're looking to score 3, they need all 3 of them to count.
That's right, Sean. That's right. Right out of his hand, the sweeper seemed to like the weight.
But it is wider than the rest on this path. It's wider than Andy's. So they're going to have to really go on this to try and make it curl.
Yeah, but it looks like it's a little too much weight to get that nice finish.
Not going to get to the back one either. That is going to sail on through. So it is Team Horwood sitting 3 here in the 5th end, and really just trying to, at this point, they're trying to end the game here, Scott. They're very much going to go for this, try to put another one in the house. A little surprised where they're calling this, that they're looking at high.
Yeah, but if they put it in the right spot, it is going to be tough. Definitely for a team for Manac to even score 1.
Yeah. Well, so I don't know. Do you like a freeze here, or do you like being in the top 12 foot?
I honestly still like peeling the corner, peeling that guard. But no, if you're going to play the draw, I think you play it full top 8 and keep it open. Keep it so that if they do manage to sink one in behind underneath, you're able to tap your own.
Yeah, because if you do that, there is a chance for Team Fermanagh to come the wide intern side and potentially sit on that shot stone. We have seen the curl would get there. So, again, another important shot here for Steve. Right now, not much doing for Team Fermanagh. Don't want to give them anything to play to. So this one is even wider than Patrick, so this should get to the center line, depending on the weight, but nothing doing yet from the front end.
It's not light, Sean. It's not light.
Chris and Brent back all the way off now. Andy backs off, tries to run interference on Patrick sweeping. But there you go. Goes to the back 12 foot, and Team Horwood is now sitting 4, but there is a chance here potentially for Team Fermanagh.
Definitely, Sean. Doors left open. We've seen quite a few right down this path. So we know what they're supposed to do. We have a good idea of what the weight will be. So it's just about putting it all together and making that nice freeze.
Yeah, Scott, we say it all the time. If you want your name on the team, these are the types of shots that you're going to have to make over the course of a game, and this is a big one for Chris and the squad.
Absolutely. So as Chris makes his way down the ice, Chris originally from Windsor, I believe, Sean. Is that right? Yeah, from Windsor, Ontario.
There you go. This is a team from all over the place. You got Patrick and Tyler from Thunder Bay, Patrick T from Thunder Bay, Patrick W from Calgary, and then Chris there from Windsor.
And all in Toronto right now. So a nice gathering place for people from all over the country to come together and meet each other and curl together.
Yeah, that's great. A total 31 years of experience on this team. Chris is 7 years of experience here, and see if those 7 years come in handy with a very high-pressure shot here in the 5th.
Yeah, they're going to need to draw on all those years of experience, Sean, to get out of the jam they're in.
They're on it right out of his hand, and it is going to over-curl, crash on that corner guard. Does push that one into the house, into what looks like actually 5th shot. So there's, I think it's still 4 yellow.
Might be 4th shot, but
the yellow at the back might. It's either 3rd or 4th.
Yeah,
we'll see if it comes into play. But again, Steve is looking at a draw here. I do wonder, Scott, do you maybe change turns only because I think by hitting that guard, I think Shotstone might be accessible now.
I think it might be. I'm trying to get angle over here.
And we can't. We're behind the sheet, but not in the greatest position for that. I think it might be half open.
Yeah, it looks half open. So I think what you want to do, Sean, really is like be biting the top button. If not, just biting the pin.
Would you ever come to it? And because he's coming from the opposite side of what is accessible to Chris, would you ever just come and maybe try to corner freeze on it?
You could, definitely. I wonder if you set up a double that way, but we'll see. It's off, and the sweepers seem to like the weight. A little clean here. It was heavy on his first one, so we'd expect to see him back that off a bit.
Yeah. Andy out to help this one. They're going to have to drag it to get it into the 8 foot, and big sweep, and they will not. It will come up light, but it does take away that draw path. And it's Chris Fermanagh going to be facing 3, maybe 4 with his last. An intern draw has got to get a good chunk of the white in the button.
Yeah, Steve's going to be disappointed with that. Not exactly where he wanted to put it, and this does give Team Fermanagh, as you said, a chance. He's got a shot here.
It is the pro side miss, though.
It is, yes.
Right.
You don't want to be deep.
Yeah, you saw him heavy last time, and like you said, you didn't want to be heavy on this one, and he wasn't. So it does make Chris change the turn. No one has thrown this turn in a while, Scott.
Yeah, this piece ice been sitting, so
Yeah.
not sure what the speed will be.
Yeah, they played it a lot in the first end, but nothing really out here since then. So
Not really, no.
tough spot here for both Chris as the thrower, the sweepers had not really seen the spot in a while, and a tough one for Patrick in the house too. So this is going to have to be a full team shot. Last one for Chris Fermanagh, facing 3, maybe 4 here in the 5th.
It's a little out there, but I think it'll curl. Just got to get it there.
Trying to make it curl, but it does look a little light. Don't think it is going to get there, and it's going to be another score for Team Horwood. Either a 3 or a 4, but it does not matter because gloves are off. Handshakes here on sheet number 2.
Sean, I did hear Boys to Men warming up there because this is the end of the road for Team Fermanagh. But great game by all the competitors.
Yes, congratulations to Team Horwood. They will be back on tonight in the D quarterfinal at 9 p.m. Their first game, Scott, was at 8 a.m. this morning, so 13 hours between games. Going to be a test of endurance for them. Team Fermanagh is out. We'll call the final 9-1 here in 5 ends on sheet 2 in the D qualifier. A lot of fun game. The score, I don't think, is as representative of the opportunities that were available to both sides.
Absolutely. There were some opportunities there. The score kind of got out of hand, but overall, it was a fun game to watch and a fun game to play. A couple more sponsor shout-outs, Sean. Axion Walker Insurance and the Centertown BIA. So thanks to them for helping sponsor this event, put it on. The next game on this sheet, I believe, will be at 4:30.
Yes, so we're going to take a break here. Not just us, all the sheets need a bit of a break. There's going to be some ice maintenance here at the Ottawa Curling Club. Next game is at 4:30 here on the YouTube feed, so keep an eye out for that at 4:30 Eastern Time, 1:30 Pacific. I won't go through all the time zones, don't worry. But we'll be back at 4:30. But before you tune off, we're going to have some post-game interviews with the guys as they come off the sheet. So don't leave us quite yet, but do join us again at 4:30 for the next qualifier games here from the 2025 Over the Rainbow Bonspiel at the Ottawa Curling Club. All right, we're here with the Skips from that Qualifier game. Chris, let's start with you. Tough game for you, but there were some chances out there. What were you seeing from your guys?
No, everybody was playing great. They were setting up things really well, and yeah, I didn't take advantage of it the way I should.
Well, so we were curious about some of the calls there in the third end. Looked like you had some chances to put some pressure on.
Yeah.
How are you guys feeling about the ice and picking things up, especially in the middle of the game there?
Yeah, I think I don't think I picked up on the curl as much as I should have early on, yeah.
Yeah, well, you were playing a team with a home ice advantage. Scott, we talked about that during the game.
Yeah, Sean, we did. Steve and his team, obviously from this club, they've got a good read on the stones and the ice and just how things go. And tell us about how you use that to your advantage today.
Well, yeah, I think we know how the ice curls, and there was one place in the ice that was just weird, so I tried to stay away from that one side. But yeah, it's curling here every week. You get to know it a bit better, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. I called that the Bermuda Triangle there because it was like nothing could get hit in that one spot.
Yeah.
So looking forward to tonight. What are you expecting, and what are you thinking?
Well, we got to get rest and get some liquids and set up for the next game. And I can't miss a shot for 5 in the next game.
Yeah, that was almost a TSN turning point there, but luckily enough, your team was able to pull it out. So thanks very much.